was the tallest structure on Earth for 3,800 years. Nothing humans built surpassed it until 1311 AD when Lincoln Cathedral was completed. Think about that. 38 centuries of trying and nobody could build higher. Meanwhile, the Romans built roads so well engineered that some are still in use today. 2,000 years later, our highways need repaving every 20 years. In 1850, a farmer in Turkey discovered an underground city called Derinkuyu. It extended 18 stories deep, housed 20,000 people, had ventilation systems, water wells, and churches carved from stone. We don't know exactly who built it or when. So here's the question that keeps historians awake at night. If ancient civilizations could achieve things we still can't replicate, why do we assume we're at the peak of human achievement? I dug into this. The answer isn't what you'd expect, and it matters more right now than at any point in history. We tell ourselves civilization is a ladder. Each generation climbs higher. Each century builds on the last. Upward, always upward. But the archaeological record tells a different story. Civilizations rise, peak, and collapse. Not sometimes, always, every single one. The Sumerians, the Egyptians, the Maya, the Romans, the Tang Dynasty, the Ottoman Empire, all of them believed they were permanent. None of them were. And here's what's disturbing. The collapses aren't gradual, they're sudden. The Bronze Age collapse around 1177 BC wiped out virtually every major Mediterranean civilization within 50 years. The Hittites? Gone. Mycenaean Greece? Destroyed. International trade networks that had operated for centuries vanished. Writing systems were forgotten. We still don't fully understand why. The Maya classical period ended around 900 AD. Cities that housed hundreds of thousands were abandoned within decades. The jungle swallowed temples that had stood for centuries. Rome didn't decline gracefully. Its population crashed from 1 million to 30,000. People forgot how to make concrete, how to build aqueducts, how to read. These weren't primitive societies. They had mathematics, medicine, architecture, literature. They were us, just earlier. Historian Joseph Tainter studied this pattern for decades. His conclusion sounds counterintuitive. Civilizations collapse because of success. Here's how it works. When a society faces problems, it develops solutions. Those solutions require complexity, bureaucracies, specialists, infrastructure. Early on, this pays off enormously. A little organization solves big problems. But complexity compounds. Each new layer requires more resources to maintain. Over time, you're spending so much energy just keeping the system running that you can't adapt to new challenges. The returns diminish, the costs increase. Then something hits, a drought, an invasion, a plague, an economic crisis, and the system, too rigid and overextended, shatters. Sir John Glubb noticed something equally troubling. He analyzed empires spanning 3,000 years: Assyria, Persia, Rome, the Arabs, the Ottomans, Britain. Each lasted approximately 250 years, 10 generations. The late-stage symptoms were identical across all of them: obsession with wealth, political division, bread in circuses replacing civic duty, military overextension, declining birth rates, and citizens who couldn't imagine their world ending. Glubb published this in 1978. He was describing ancient empires. Read it today and tell me it doesn't sound like this morning's headlines. Let's talk about the present. We've achieved extraordinary things. We've doubled life expectancy. We've connected the globe. We've walked on the moon and sequenced the human genome. But we've also built something unprecedented in its fragility. The average Roman knew how to grow food, build shelter, make tools. Survival skills were embedded in daily life. How many of us could survive a month without electricity, without supply chains, without the systems we never think about? Our food travels 1,500 miles before it reaches our plates. Our medicine depends on global networks. Our economy runs on digital infrastructure vulnerable to solar flares, cyber attacks, or simple neglect. We're not stronger than Rome. We're more efficient. And efficiency without resilience is a trap. Here's what haunts me. We know. We publish reports on crumbling infrastructure. We document climate risks. We analyze political fragmentation. Ancient civilizations had the excuse of ignorance. We don't. But we also have something no fallen empire possessed: historical awareness. We can study the Bronze Age collapse. We can read Tainter and Glubb. We can see the patterns. The question isn't whether we're smart enough to understand the danger. It's whether we're wise enough to act differently. Every collapsed civilization left behind monuments hoping to be remembered. The Egyptians built pyramids. The Romans built roads. The Maya built temples. We found them, we studied them, we translated their languages and decoded their warnings. Now, we're writing our own chapter. The patterns are familiar, the warning signs are flashing. We're checking boxes on lists written by dead empires. But patterns aren't prophecies. Knowing the cycle gives us the chance to break it. We're the first civilization in history having this conversation consciously, the first to understand where we might be in the sequence. What we do with that knowledge determines everything. Future archaeologists will dig through our remains someday. They'll find our cities, our technology, our records. They'll piece together our story the way we've pieced together Rome